It's the Hellhound Show! Okay. I promise I won't ever do that again. Sorry. Couldn't resist. Whatever. Anyway, I'm Hellhound, and welcome to my show, yes. A few different people suggested that I review an album by Death, one of my favorite bands of all time. So now I'll finally meet their request with their second full-length album, entitled Leprosy. Released released by Century Media in 1988. Leprosy. This review will be a little shorter than my others because, mainly because I have almost nothing but positive things to say about this near-perfect album. And let me expand on why. Let me start by saying the CD is an absolutely magnificent work of death metal art. Fronted by the godfather of death metal himself, Chuck Schuldiner. I highly enjoyed their thrashy debut album, the legendary and highly influential Scream Bloody Gore. But this one improves on it in pretty much every way, except maybe the cover art, as Scream Bloody Gore features some of my favorite album artwork of all time. It's just friggin' awesome. You'll definitely notice that the drums and vocals on this album are a lot louder than they were on the previous one. There's also a huge difference in the production. Their debut had a very thin guitar sound, so this is certainly a step up, probably in every way, really. As I said, I really have nothing, almost nothing bad at all to say about this album, except for maybe the drums being maybe a tad repetitive at times. Bill Andrews from the band Massacre was behind the drum kit during the recording of Leprosy, and is definitely a talented drummer. He took over for Chris Refair, who played drums on their first album, and then went on to form the kick-ass band Autopsy, in which he also did vocals, playing drums and singing at the same time. I imagine it would be extremely hard. I have a hard enough time playing guitar and singing at the same time. So, Bill Andrews, great drummer. I'm not going to answer that. Another thing I noticed is the bass guitar. The bass guitar, which I despise that ringtone. My old phone, I had friggin' stripped, raped, and strangled by Cannibal Corpse, and Rapture by Morbid Angel, and friggin', I think, what else was it? Like, Into the Void by Black Sabbath. This damn phone, I can't get good ringtones. I have to settle for shit. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The bass guitar, which I sometimes see credited to the talented Terry Butler, who played on the follow-up album Spiritual Healing. Sometimes I see Terry Butler credited as playing bass on this album, but I'm pretty sure it was actually Chuck himself who did the bass parts here, as well as their debut. The bass playing, the bass is not very audible a lot of the time, and every time I listen to these tracks, I can't help but wish the bass playing was a little louder. Chuck's bass playing, which I'm pretty certain about that. The drums and the bass are actually the only two complaints I have, and they're very minor ones at that. They don't all detract from the overall satisfaction one gets when listening to this monstrous audio gore fest. It feels like a sin to criticize anything that Death has ever done anyway, but I can't help but feeling just the slightest bit underwhelmed by the rhythm section at times. Don't worry though, this album still slays. I still consider it to be a pristine death metal recording. I just have to be fair and honest when doing a review. And sorry about the phone distraction, by the way. Interruption. I swear people won't leave me alone. They've been riding my nuts all day. But anyway, where this album truly triumphs is its vocal work and its guitar. Chuck Schuldiner never disappoints. The vocals here are probably his best performance, extremely evil sounding, which is obviously a good thing on a record such as this. He sounds like he's about to vomit on the mic, and yeah, it's a good thing. It's death metal. His high-pitched screams aren't as prominent this time, but they are still there. Yeah, Chuck was and always will be. God rest his soul. Rest in peace. It was a truly tragic day when we lost him. He was just such a legend. He'll always be one of the greatest writers in metal history. Every single riff on this album contributed by him and second guitarist Rick Ross is infinitely spectacular. The layered dual guitars are magnificent, from the basic and savage strummed chords to the higher noted melodies. They just shred on that BC Rich. Like I wish I could. Yeah, they're pretty technical as well, considering this type of sound was still being invented, basically. I've heard this album getting some flack for the instrumentation being one-dimensional, but keep in mind that death metal was relatively primitive this time. It wasn't fully established all the way yet. But yeah, let's look at the songs themselves. The opening track, Leprosy, is like an extremely brutal and powerful demon that really sticks with you and lurks throughout your system for days after listening. Whenever I hear that first riff, just makes me sort of instantly start headbanging and just, raise my fist in the air. I know I'm a dork. What can I say? The haunting and vivid lyrics are also pure genius and further proof that Schuldiner is a god. Yeah, the riff and guitar work found here are perfect examples why this record is a monument in death metal history. The drums are fairly simple, although fast. The steady beats and intricate patterns, I'd say, make up for it. They are a little bit repetitive, though, as I said before. I have to compliment the vocals again. They're flawless, clean and audible, with no strings attached. Just great classic death metal vocals. It just rocked my friggin' world. Anyway, back to the songs. Open Casket is by far my favorite track, and also one of the best death metal songs ever recorded. This particular song showcases Chuck's vocal talents as he goes pretty deep at some points and just sounds amazingly brutal. Yeah, some of the great tracks are Born Dead, Forgotten Past, Pull the Plug, and Primitive Waves. Well, actually every song is amazing, but those are just my favorites. But yeah, instead of giving you an in-depth explanation as to why these gloriously grotesque songs kick so much ass, just give them a listen and see for yourself. You will not be disappointed. Yeah, Death is easily probably the best death metal band that ever existed, and Chuck really perfected the death metal formula with this album. His contributions to the genre will never, go unrecognized. Sure, the drums got a little more variety, and the bass, played by Chuck, I'm pretty sure, could be a little louder, but the kick-ass vocals and spectacular riffing more than make up for it. Yeah, see right there. Yeah, even on the back of the album it says Terry Butler. Maybe he was just in the band at this time. Maybe he just joined because he did. He was on the next album, Spiritual Healing. But I'm pretty sure it was Chuck that was on the 4 strings. I don't know. I could be wrong. It says Terry right there, but again, I don't know. Either way, great bass playing, whether it's Chuck or Terry. They're both great at what they do. Could be louder, unfortunately. But yeah, this spectacular collection of delightfully macabre tunes will forever be held in my heart as one of the greatest death metal albums ever recorded. Right up there with their debut, Deicide's Legion, Possessed 7 Churches, Obituary's Slowly We Rot, among several others. Cannibal Corpse's Tomb of the Mutilated. Just the list goes on and on and on. Altars of Madness by Morbid Angel. Just several other masterpieces. This one definitely ranks up there with the best of them. All in all, Leprosy is a huge step in the right direction and pretty much dominates over their previous album, though I still love it. But yeah, if you love Scream Bloody Gore, then by all means add this one to your collection. Buy it right now. It'll be a purchase you will not regret. Oh yeah. Seriously, go buy it, bring it home, just blast that shit till you blow your speakers off and make your eardrums bleed, and sing along with the lyrics, scream along with it until your friggin' vocal cords explode. The thing's just pulsating with metal greatness, thanks to everybody who played on this album. I think he really found a good band here. There he is, Chuck Schuldiner, God amongst men, a legend, one of my heroes, man. Yeah, check out those lyrics. He's a genius. Everything he does is awesome. I can't praise Chuck Schuldiner enough. It's so sad he's no longer with us, but he definitely produced some great music, and his legacy will live on forever through his macabre tunes. But alright, well, I'm Hellhound, and thank you for watching another album review, and stay tuned for more to come in the future, and keep it metal.